So, whilst the Dragon Ball Super manga is on a hiatus due to the passing of beloved creator Akira Toriyama, I'm going to start looking at more things to do with the Outerverse. What I'm talking about when I talk about Outerverse is, of course, what is also referred to as Zenos Realm, the Omni King's realm, where his mansion resides on top of some sort of jellyfish floating throughout a great expanse. Now, obviously, we know on top of that jellyfish-like creature, there are the 12 universes and Zeno's mansion. It does seem to be some sort of transcendental world, as when Goku and the others go there, the size proportions seem completely different. But we know that happens in DC when the likes of Superman, etc. visit outer worlds and higher dimensions there as well. But it's in this outer realm where obviously the Omni Kings reside. They're gods who we don't know exactly how strong they are. We just know that they are happy to fuck with Goku if they want to. And of course, the being that this video is centering around, the Grand Priest, otherwise known as the Daishinkan, Whis' father, the leader of the angels, the ancient angel attendant to the Omni King or Omni Kings, and that's where this gets interesting. So obviously in the current timeline there are two Omni Kings. One of the Omni Kings came from the future after the Future Trunks arc, in which Goku summoned the Omni King Zen-oh of the future timeline to Earth in order to wipe out immortal fused Zamasu. The Omni King literally used erasure to erase not only merge Zamasu out of existence, but also the entire timeline. What was ultimately left was basically a great white expanse, which you could say resembles a blank white page. Later on, when Goku goes to pick up the Omni King from the future timeline, however, it does seem to be more of a lighter blue, but it still looks different to what we saw in the anime, where there seem to be these weird coloured sparkling patterns around. Now that may just be a creative design choice. Obviously Toei made the anime and Toyotaro drew the manga version, and then it was coloured in by somebody else presumably, but essentially what was left was nothing. So obviously the Omni King wasn't there just to erase Earth, which was where Merge Zamasu resided when he went into his infinity form, or where he started to duplicate and clone himself. And obviously once again the Merge Zamasus were different from the anime and the manga, whereas in the anime he kind of took over the entire world, Beerus becoming some sort of ethereal being. But in the manga, he was literally just physically cloning himself to what seemed like an unlimited degree. How far he expanded remains unknown, but given the fact that Zen-oh decided to erase everything, you would assume that it went way beyond the boundaries of the Earth and even the universe, because he essentially wiped out the multiverse, and not just the multiverse, the 12 universes that we know of. He must have wiped out his own home. When Goku returned to the future alongside Future Trunks, and found Zen-oh just basically floating around in this great expanse of whatever it was, blank page or something else, maybe a higher dimension, most likely a higher dimension, who knows, maybe a 5th or 6th, potentially 7th dimension. Zen-oh states to Goku, everything's gone. Goku returns with, then I'll take you to somewhere that's more fun. But Zen-oh stated, everything's gone. That isn't just Earth, it isn't just Universe 7, it would be the entire multiverse and his home. After all, he could easily just return to his home rather than just float around in this great expanse. As the Omni King stated, everything's gone. We even see with the time rings that one of the time rings disappeared. The whole continuity is gone. He's erased that time and space of that entire continuity. Zen-oh looks like a joke, but he certainly isn't a joke. And what's more is that because he erased his own home, and potentially everything in that great expanse, that jellyfish, maybe even erase the jellyfish in that great expanse and everything in there, he would also have erased his gods, as well as potentially the Grand Priest. Now, interestingly, in the manga adaptation of Dragon Ball Super, the Grand Priest is stated to be the strongest being in the universe by Whis, which does differ to what was stated in the anime. He was stated to be in the top 5 in the anime, but Toyotaro written him to be the strongest. Now, here's an important point that should be discussed and maybe chewed on, and that is the fact that Dragon Ball Super, especially under Toyotaro's wheel, has really gone in the direction of there's more than just raw power at stake in these battles, in these verse battles, and that techniques and abilities and hacks actually have more of a role to play in the outcome of a particular battle. Now, obviously what I'm referring to here is the potential that is the Grand Priest supposed to be stronger than the Omni King Zen-oh, according to Whis, considering that the Omni King is in that universe as well. And when they say universe, they are often talking about the entire multiverse. Usually means everything. So everything that there is. But obviously we have now got terms like multiverse, megaverse, ultraverse, omniverse, etc. that goes beyond that. But Toyotaro and Toriyama might not particularly know about those particular terms that we use in the West here. But whilst the Omni King may have the destructive power that is erasure, like complete erasure, you must understand the difference between destruction and erasure. This would imply that the future Grand Priest was also erased from existence in the future timeline, but he's supposed to be the strongest warrior in the universe or the multiverse. But that could come down to the fact that his skill sets as a warrior are the best in the universe, whereas Zen-oh holds the most destructive power in the universe. A lot of the fights in Dragon Ball Super now are starting to go beyond just raw power, but like I said, skill, hacks and abilities such as techniques like Ultra Instinct can serve as equalizers or give a warrior an advantage in a fight due to the hacks that it has. But the question is where is the future Grand Priest? Was he actually erased by the Omni King? And if he was erased, surely the current Grand Priest should start to ask some questions. Surely he'll be concerned about his own safety in the current timeline. But there is a possibility that the future Grand Priest did not die. Maybe the universe was erased, but we know that the Grand Priest has a wealth of hacks abilities. I did create a video based on the anime version of the Grand Priest called 10 Insane Powers that the Grand Priest has you might not know about. It includes things like reality warping, dimension creation, so maybe he escaped into a different dimension. The manga version of the Grand Priest has actually demonstrated some different hacks abilities. Smash a like on the video if you want me to make that video. There seems to be an angelic realm, but it's quite possible that the outer realm or Zenos Realm could also be the same thing as the angel realm. Or is it a separate place where the angels reside? We don't fully know the backstory and the lore behind the angels. They're very mysterious at the moment into where they come from, how they originated, etc. There are quite a lot of mysteries left unresolved in the Dragon Ball Super timeline when it comes to the gods and the angels. And as I said, the current Grand Priest should also be very concerned at the fact that the Omni Kings are willing to do that if that is the case and just to erase his children out of existence. So there's a lot of complications that could be caused by having two Omni Kings in the same timeline, especially with one of those Omni Kings willing to just erase absolutely everything in order to get rid of one immortal being that was seemingly residing in just one universe. But surely if the future Grand Priest did survive, maybe he could have come to the present timeline in order to retrieve the second Omni King in the present timeline. Does having two Omni Kings in the same timeline cause some sort of detrimental effect to that timeline? I guess we'll have to wait and see. However, the future Grand Priest, if he survived that erasure from the Omni King way back in the Future Trunks arc, maybe he will come seeking revenge. After all, it wouldn't just be him that maybe survived, it would be his children as well, the rest of the angels. And as we saw with Beerus, he does care about the welfare of his children. Now obviously, we know that the Grand Priest is vastly stronger than Goku. He is at the top of the Ultra Instinct ladder. Goku, as at the beginning of the Granola arc, was at the bottom of that ladder. Where he resides now, has he overtook Beerus? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. He's definitely not at Whis' levels yet, but given that they seemingly are now approaching Beerus, Whis would presumably be the next step, and obviously the Grand Priest is a step even further beyond that. But given a couple of power-ups, given the Saiyans' ability to actually grow during their lifetime, it could be possible that eventually we'll see Goku reach the Grand Priest level if the story continues on long enough. I imagine the story will end with Goku as the strongest, so maybe when he does get to the top of the ladder, which seemingly was prognosticated by Whis, that Goku tries to get to the top of that Ultra Instinct ladder, he'll have an enemy that is at the top of that ladder. And whilst the current Grand Priest is seemingly a good guy, what if the future Grand Priest was to return seeking revenge and the destruction of this current universe? So even hypothetically, this arc would presumably be quite a few arcs away yet, but if Dragon Ball Super is to continue in the long run, it's potentially an arc we may get eventually. I think the Heart storyline from Super Dragon Ball Heroes was quite a good one. Obviously it wasn't told very well because, you know, it's a promotional anime and it is Super Dragon Ball Heroes, but the character of Heart seeking revenge against the Omni King for whatever happened could be a precursor to the villain that essentially surpasses all of the gods of destructions and perhaps even the angels and seeks revenge against the Omni King. We know Frieza's aiming to replace the Omni King anyway based on interviews, but there could be another villain like a Hearts who I thought was a really interesting character that seeks to defeat the Omni King, but maybe it's a character we already know. What if it is a future Grand Priest? He has no home, presumably now either, so it's very possible if he is still alive, or he was just erased by the Omni King, which was brutal. But given the scope of the Grand Priest's abilities, I also wouldn't rule out there being some sort of high dimensional being that the Grand Priest is just an avatar of, very similar to what we see with Darkseid in DC. Maybe the current Grand Priest and the future Grand Priest and Grand Priests in all timelines are just avatars of something a lot beyond what we actually know of so far. Personally, for me, the lore and mystery surrounding these Outer Realm beings is one of the most exciting things in Dragon Ball Super. I know we're a way off of it at the moment in terms of Goku and Vegeta's development to get to that level, but you would imagine they would eventually get to those sorts of levels, and I'm personally excited by it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Smash a like on the video if you like talking about these Outer Realm characters. Until next time, Ad Astra.